How's it? This is Isaac Fox, just your friendly neighborhood multi-dimensional being showing up authentic, raw, messy, and beautiful. This will find the people that it's supposed to find. Love you.
All right. Hello, hello.
Hello, this is Isaac Box with New Paradigm Healing Academy. This is my lovely wife, as you know. That's Candace Box. I call her Candy Box. So I we're actually in different worlds right now. I love it. And I can't see the screen and anybody's comments. So I'm assuming Candace can. So whoever shows up and has a comment and wants to ask a question, feel free. Today is really about understanding your top three values. And what would be the most true way that I could say it? When I understood my values, what I understood my top three values to be, it changed everything for me. And Candace has had a similar experience where things just clicked into place. It made more sense. I understood what I was doing in my life for the last 47 years, where I was unconsciously actually living by my values. And then once I started to consciously live by my values, I slipped right into this, what the people would refer to as the flow. I like to call it the flow. But really, it's just aligning to your true self. And there's different aspects of that. We're going to get into all that today. Speaking of structures and values. So my wife helps me with these things. And today I sat down and I wrote a whole nice little list for everybody so I can stay on point, because this is going to be structured. However, in the structure, there is an expansiveness within the structure. It's not a rigid limiting structure. That's not how I prefer to do things. I use structures and see them in the dimensions that they exist and then expand with that and beyond that, but still honor the levels of agreement of structure. So we'll explain a little bit about that. I'll show you how to find your top values. If you're anything like me, I've had a lot of common experiences that many people have. The personal development world, if you've been in it for a while, you probably have heard values, right, Candace? Like there's a lot of people that do this. One guy is pretty cool, Dr. John DeMartini. He's pretty cool. I saw him a couple of times, and he has this whole, I think it's called breakthrough experience, where they sit down, they write out 200 questions, and it's really this intensive process. Well, and it's valuable, and a lot of my friends took it and it helped them and whatever. I like to keep things much more simple, because honestly, the profoundness of what is simple. In fact, it's possible if it wasn't actually simple, it most likely wouldn't be able to exist. Now, it doesn't mean it's not complex. It's just not complicated. Okay. So there can be complex and there can be infinite amount of structures and levels and layers, and understand, like, I don't know what any of that is, levels and layers, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So what I'm saying is, the values that you see and understanding them, you may have come across them. You may have found yourself, if it was like an experience like mine, to be irritated because I'm like, what the fuck are my values? I don't even know what my fucking values are, right? And then I felt there was something wrong with me, or I didn't know, or like, what's your why? What's your why, Candace? Right? Fuck you. What's my why? You know what I mean? Like that would be my response to it. I'm gonna just keep it like really real and authentic with you guys, because this is something that I really just have fallen in love with, and I really want to share it just from my true self, right? My true self has a wonderful, colorful language. So what's your why? Well, I didn't really know. And there's reasons for that. And I understand that now. And not long ago, I got introduced to the values again. And I'm like, oh, these things. And I went over them and I saw them and I noticed my feelings and my thoughts about them. And then they just showed up. Boom, boom, boom. And I had some tools that I used this time that I didn't have last time. And I was like, wow, which I'm going to share with you. And like, wow, look at my top three values. And then it all made sense. And then all of a sudden, just my focus and what I prioritized in my life and what I chose to focus my energy on, my consciousness on, and take action on, it saved me from focusing on all these other aspects of self that weren't even myself. They weren't my values. Okay. It was the paradigms and the systems that I grew up in and other people sharing their values with me. And I thought those values were the values that I should live by. Society's values, other values, right? Millions of values, infinite amount of systems. I don't know. So when I understood that I was thinking that other people's values were more important than my own, then I understood when I saw my values that I actually have been living my values my entire life. I just wasn't consciously aligning to them. Right. So then I wasn't actually giving my full focus to the value because I thought something else was more valuable because somebody told me my values weren't important and this value was more important. And, you know, I bought it. I believed into it up until now. Right. And it's not my fault. Like that just happens. It's just what we do. And that's another level of agreement. Maybe I needed to experience life in a way outside of what was more aligned with my true self. But now I'm experiencing life that's more aligned with my true self, the eternal self of infinite possibilities, love, peace, joy, light, expansion. That self that's never changed, that's never known itself in any other way other than its truth, its infinite truth. I get to experience in these structures more of that. So I get to keep this wonderful personality that I spent all this time cultivating, right? I don't lose my personality and my memories, but I get to align to maybe what the soul was like, aligning to these higher values. Well, actually, these are like breadcrumbs. If you align to this, you will start to get more of what you prefer. Okay. Because maybe more of what I prefer is in alignment with my true self, the soul agreement, whatever the soul and source kind of came up with for me to experience and learn my lessons through here. And so since I've done that, there's just this sense of fulfillment in my system that, I mean, I waited my whole life to feel that, especially the last 15 years with all the personal development and then spiritual growth. And then one day I just woke up and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been, working towards, but it's what I was waiting for. And it was right there in front of me the whole time. And the gift that I'm given is able to see things, the big picture, and see the structure and bring it in to a way that can be simply expressed and explained. So that's my divine expression. It's nothing new that I'm sharing with you. Truth is truth, and I'm sure it's been shared. It's just never been shared this way from me. So here you, it's a brand new energy in the world that's coming through today, and you're part of it. Those of you that are on are part of it. Candace wants to say something.
I do. And, one of the things I love about my personality is it has been with me since the beginning of time, and it likes and prefers certain ways of being. And I wouldn't want to be anybody else but me, because I have all these unique quirks, these unique qualities. And with that, it's showing me what my values are. And that's powerful to just understand that and be in alignment with that. Because when you really understand yourself and you get that you have these crazy things about you and wonderful things, you begin to go, well, of course, that's how I am.
Well, and that's a great point, babe, because the judgment, good, bad, right, and wrong, and oh man, I must be doing something wrong, or like I keep having this experience I don't prefer. It's well, okay, maybe. And then maybe what's more true is, as an infinite being that wanted to have experiences of itself, it decided to create itself in these different levels of vibration and structure, which each structure has its own level of agreement, right? And its own limitations, perceived limitations within that. And it may have wanted to learn a lesson in some way, shape, or form, which then created the personality through the challenges of life that we could overcome. And so the things that I used to judge myself on or give myself a hard time about, I've realized those were my greatest lessons. That's what I was here to actually overcome. And I've overcome many of them. And any that show up now, I will continue to overcome. And as I do that, I really am, for all those that have the same kind of lesson and agreement and the same energy pattern, which is many, 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 many of us, we're much more similar than we are different. Even the stories differ, right? But the energy is primarily the same keys. As we overcome those, we give the example to overcome for others, right? And my personality was designed this way to have an experience. So why, and it through no fault of my own, like 5 years old, something happened. There was a trauma, something overwhelmed me psychologically or physically. As a feeling, I didn't know what to do with it. I made decisions and I was like, this isn't right. I can't live this way. And I started to make beliefs and thoughts. And then parents had their beliefs and thoughts, and school had their beliefs and thoughts, and society has its beliefs and thoughts that have been passed down for hundreds of years or more, thousands of years. And there's all these systems that you're living within, and you just start like buying into some of them. And that is nothing that it's nothing that I really need to think that I'm angry about anymore up until now. I don't have to prefer those things. However, I see where they were put in place so I could forget myself and now have the experience of remembering the dismembered pieces. So as I align more to my true self, I remember I can experience more of what I prefer, because I can't be more of anything since it's possible. And you guys don't have to believe this 100%. If you believe it just a fraction of a percent, it's fine. That's enough. However, I believe there's much more than a fraction of a percent that this is possible, that I'm an eternal being of infinite possibilities. And I have this infinite truth in myself and in my true self that I actually never forgot who I was. There's a part of me that is always here, and that's the consciousness that is aware of the different structures of form, of my physical form, my emotional body, my mental body. I think we went into that in one of these lives, was actually the 4 bodies. And what is that without consciousness being aware of it, right? So there's a part of me that is always conscious, is always aware. So I can't be more abundant. I can't be more of what I already am. However, the different structures and levels of agreements that no longer benefit me, and the challenges that I overcome, as I dissolve and let those go, the things I think I know and believe to be true, feel the feelings, let it dissolve. We also talked about that in another live. Wow, we give a lot of good stuff away on this Wednesday.
Yes, we do.
My God, dude. As I do that, the pieces that I had seen in separation, they are remembered, and whatever's there I don't prefer dissolves back into infinite possibilities and my infinite truth. And then in the structures that are still here existing in the eternal now, I actually get to experience more of what I am. Since I can't be more, I get to experience more. Does that make sense? You like that one? Is there something you want to add to that one, babe?
Yeah, actually, Phoenix chimed in. This is what living in your own alignment means. Have to be aware. Oh, I lost it. Darn. It went away. Hold on.
It went away.
Okay, have to be aware of your values first. You both are so amazing. Thank you, Phoenix. Appreciate it. Want to welcome Christine, Phoenix, and Linda for being here. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. So, yeah, people on the comments. I told Candace I was going to keep it real simple and structured, but I was also going to be real expansive, and I wasn't going to hold back. You guys following what I'm putting down? Or am I just blowing your mind? Or both, right? So the thing is, you don't have to intellectualize all of this. We're going to get to that part where I'm actually going to honor the personal mind. So you can listen with your consciousness and just your true mind, and just be present, sit up straight and breathe. Don't try to worry about understanding all of this. There's replays for a reason. You can probably listen to this 10 times and pick up something in a more complete understanding each time. But just absorb it. And the absorption of that and just absorbing of the energy that's coming through, right? And the reflection, whatever it is that I'm reflecting for you, that you're asking for is there. So just let that be in there. Feel into the truth of that. If something doesn't ring true for you, don't just, oh, okay. Just let it go in one ear and out the other. It doesn't need to be in your energy field. Everything else is going to change in your energy field, which then your true mind informs your personal mind, your physical mind. Okay. So, cool. So that being said, what like our values? We talked about values, right, babe? So I can move on. See, I have my list. I love this is my structure. This is pretty
I'm
amazing.
so proud of you. That's always wonderful
I
when
know.
you
And
get more organized. And that's
thank
what happens when you're in alignment, right? When you're following
yes.
your values, boom.
Yes. It's like I used to think I can just free flow and I don't have to be organized, but no, it's actually that this is one of my top values. So this is freedom. Isaac, how can writing it only took me 3 minutes and I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about. It's right here, right? It's to keep me structured. So how is this freedom? How are you following your value of freedom by writing stuff on a paper? Well, okay, let me tell you. So for a lot of you that are like me, very, some people will call it empathic, right? However, it's more just our clairsentient channels are open. So we actually sense energy. We're a little more sensitive to it than other people with different experiences. Claircognizant, we have a knowing. So we're sensing and sensitive to energy. And we also know things without fully understanding why we know them, right? And a lot of people that have these experiences with these energies, we tend to be more in the complex trauma category of life. Not saying like we all have traumas, but the people that are really sensitive, we kind of just tend to be traumatized like through our every existence in our it's something else, right? But that's neither here nor there. That's another challenge that we let go of, right? And it's never been me. The need to not want to be in my body in the past. It's not safe, right? That's like, it's so uncomfortable in there. There's so many feelings and things. Oh my God, I don't know if I can live with these feelings, the fear and the tickly in the stomach and it's butterflies in your stomach and like everything's like, oh God, I'm going to die. It can be intense if you're really conscious of it and what your body's experiencing and the feelings that are there, right? So I had a very spiritual outlook on life. Okay. Of course I did, because I didn't want to be in the present moment. So getting to my number one value, when I understood, like all I wanted to do was be free. Okay. Well, part of being free is understanding the truth of what I am and that part of me in different levels of expression. So to honor each part and each part of that expression. Okay. So there's structure. There is a certain structure within that. Okay. So when I took my expansiveness and I brought it into structure, I expanded within that structure. So this for me is following my highest value of freedom. Because when I bring my expansiveness into a structured form and write things down in a certain way and respect the three-dimensional reality that I exist within, right? But I'm not limited by, I can expand and then I'm free. And then everything around me becomes more malleable to my expansion in the truth of what I am, instead of the dense, heavy three-dimensional version. Yeah. You want to you want to pick something up? I got a lot of fun animals around here. Normally Candace will pick them up or let them in the house. So Candace, I'll be back.
I love that your first value is freedom. Because as I understand that, then I understand what you need and how I can support you. And for me, my first value is joy. And it's interesting because I didn't recognize that it was joy uh, until he pointed it out to me. Because he knows me better than myself sometimes, because, we've been together for, 15 plus years. And he's like, Candace, he's like, don't you know, like every time you feel joyful, like you just light up the room. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. So my number one value is joy. And when I follow that, what makes me smile, what makes me happy, what makes me giddy, what makes me excited, all of a sudden life is in the flow. And so when I set myself up and give myself the structure I need for that joy to flow, then I am way, way happier in life and joyful.
Yeah. Do things happen with a little more ease and flow and grace? Like
Yes.
the things in the three-dimensional world, the things that you necessarily didn't really want to do, or things that you would procrastinate or self-sabotage. I do this because that doesn't really exist. The quotations means I'm lying, just to let you know. um, but like the procrastinate, it's like you weren't procrastinating, you weren't aligned to your highest values of joy. So then what you were doing, you didn't see joy in it. So you didn't want to do it because it wasn't aligned to your highest value. But now that you're consciously aligned to your highest value, the things that you were putting off, you actually are doing them. And you're not sitting there going, I fucking love doing this. I feel so amazing. Like, but you could. And that's where I would prefer to be in every experience, the joy flowing through me, the love, peace, and joy, and the freedom. And just going, wow, just being alive and just feeling the air on my skin is amazing, right? So that's possible. I've experienced that. And I can bring that into everything that I do, especially when you're consciously aligning to your higher values. And I wanted to share with that example you gave, babe. I was going to do that when I started to give people the tools, but since you brought it up, it's to let you guys know. So she didn't really realize it was joy. She didn't even have that on her list. So what I'm going to have you guys do is we're going to, babe, is there a workbook or something?
Yeah, so I'm going to drop a link in the comment section, and basically, we're giving you the free workbook of our values to help you begin to discern what they are and work through this with us.
Yeah. And so there's a list of values, and you just look through them and you write down, 4, 5, 6, 7, like however many you think you need to. 3. We're looking for top 3. That's what it is. You can have, I don't know, an infinite amount of values, but we're looking basically for the top 3 values. There's a reason for this. Okay. It helps us focus. Now, Candace had top 3 values and joy wasn't even fucking on it. It wasn't even on the 1 through 5 list or 1 through 10 list or whatever there was. And it was funny to me. Because I laughed and I was like, oh, wow, of course she doesn't see that because she doesn't value her own joy. Because somebody told her she had to be serious all the time. And she had to work really hard in order to matter in life, in order to be okay, in order to be taken seriously. Right. So then she'd work herself to exhaustion with no joy in it. And then she'd do that for 3 months and then go, okay, I got to go on vacation. And I don't travel all the time. So I'm like, okay, go on vacation. I love you, babe. She'd go run off for 2 weeks and go and party and have fun and come back. Sound familiar? That's what a lot of people do, right? That's like the basic system of like getting weekends off and 9 to 5 and 2 weeks of vacation a year paid, Not for me, man. And not for Candace anymore. So now she realizes like, oh shit. And I said, babe, what about joy? Because here's what really happened. Here's what really happened. This is the best part. This is why I love us, because we're just fucking real and authentic. She's getting her master's in family therapy. It's not like she's not already doing enough, like running multiple businesses right now and like, working with me and building this relationship and everything we're doing. She's like, I'm going to get my master's because I'm just awesome. So there's no weeks off. It's 1 a week. And she had a couple pile up on her and she had to sit down and she was real stressed. And I said, babe, you know what really works sometimes? Like you just drink a beer. Just drink a beer, man. She didn't drink very often. So she drank a beer and she's like, oh, this feels great. And she went and did homework for 4 hours. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh shit, pleasure, joy. I was like, so babe, when you give yourself a little bit of joy, whatever you're going to do, then you're completely focused on it and you do it within that joy. And it just blew my mind. And she goes, oh my God. And ever since then, she's been a little joy bunny.
Yes, and it doesn't always have to be beer. It's like good music, even dancing, a nice hot shower, all these things that bring me joy. When I do it before the so-called seriousness, then it actually is more flowy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not every time she's pissed off, I just go get her a beer. That wouldn't work. That's another story and another experience and challenge that she's obviously not going through in life. But anyways, it's whatever brings her joy, whatever it can, even taking sometimes like 30 minutes and doing some stretching and some yin yoga, or going outside and watering the plants and playing with their little furry animals. So that's one example. Okay. So how do you know if you're on your values or not, right? So there's different kinds of aspects and things to that. Do you have the list to give them the basic kind of understanding of like how to start looking at your values, and then I'll expand on to that?
Okay, shall I share the screen?
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's why I keep you around. Do that on. Oh, because it's soon.
There we go.
Cool. So those are your values. And then basically the list of what I was saying was, do you have that list, babe, of like the steps, like the basic things to do? Like, how do you find your values?
Yes. So this is step one here.
Okay. So I'm asking you to explain it.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you for sharing.
No worries.
So we obviously have many different values, and we can choose our values intentionally or not, because a lot of times they have been brought up unconsciously. So we want to take some time, and basically we have a hint here. If you can look at where you spend most of your time, sometimes what irritates you the most will reveal to you your own values. And you can even look at your search history, because if you're starting to search for like spiritual growth, that might be a value of yours, right? Or even shopping or clothes, that might be a value, right? So taking a look at what is something very important to you. And by doing this, you begin to then come down here where there's a list of them. Now, this is not a comprehensive list. Know that this is basically like some of the strong ones that we found for ourselves. However, if you go again to like Dr. Demartini or even just a search online, you'll find way more. So if there isn't one that you see, please add it in yourself. Okay.
Yep, exactly. And so, yeah, so I mean, the basic stuff that I understood 15 years ago, it's you look around, where do you spend most of your time? Right? Is it living room? Is it an office? Okay, great. So you look around at like 3 or 4 things that you spend most of your time using. Yes, Kitty. Um, that's a real basic one, right? For me, I actually spend a lot of my time in my living room. I really like my living room. It's really nice. I take good care of it. I keep my house clean. I love to just come home after I work and just cruise and relax on my couch, watch some TV, play some video games. I've always liked to decompress that way. I've always preferred that. And so I realized, I was like, oh shit, what is that? That's actually security. So that's my second value, is actual security. And security for me is much more than, being comfortable in my living room. It's secure relationship attachments, right? It's being secure inside, knowing of myself, secure in my values and who I am and what I'm actually being asked to do in the flow of life, and being secure in the knowing of my own information and moving forward in life. Like this is a profound value for me. Security, freedom, security. See how those work together. You know what I mean? When I have that security, I'm working towards into the freedom, right? So as I was sitting around, I was like, oh, okay, well, what's my third? And then they gave me this really cool trick where they're like, sometimes if it's not around your space that you're doing, that you're in most and you're not using it, look around your space and what irritates you in your space. Or look around your life, like what reflections come up that constantly irritate you. Okay. So I had this wall. It's actually really pretty. Sure. That's my new wall over there. Look how tall that is. That's a 20-foot wall, man. But look how clean those lines are. Look at that TV. Clean, perfect. Right. But it was the wrong color. I had painted it blue, and this room is too dark for dark blue. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get back up and cut the lines again. And so I left that wall alone for like 2 or 3 months and it was unfinished. And every time I looked at it, I just fucking, and then I realized, I was like, oh, okay, that's in my space. It's irritating me. What on the list? And I just looked through the list real quick, and excellence jumped out at me. I'm like, excellence. And I had no idea that was my third top value. Holy shit, excellence. Okay. And then I realized, so the idea of perfection, which I didn't realize I was operating from in the past, that if something wasn't perfect, that there was no point in life. There was no point in doing it. So I'd pull back and depress, right? It's really not depression. I'm compressing my energy because it's not the way it should be in my head. And I can't ever make it that way, blah, 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 perfection, right? And then I would just not do anything. Excellence was like, oh, whatever it is, it doesn't need to be perfect. That's the unskillful belief. I take what I find in all areas of my life and I excel them, just like I'm doing with this value class. I understood this. I embodied this. The information that came through my divine expression, my gift is to excel, whatever it is that comes through for me. And I have this talent to simply explain things that in the past may not have been explained in the English language, explainable or understandable, right? And it's not me, it's not Isaac doing it. It's like the personality is here. The value of excellence has created this, and the distortion patterns I've overcome have helped me to articulate and communicate very skillfully in life. And now that I knew that it was excellence and not perfection, guess what? That wall got done like that. I think it was Christmas weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we're like, hey, let's just spend 3 days and hang out and just get the house done. So that's what happened. So now everything I do in like this call, it's like excellence. I'm following excellence. So if you look at my top 3 values, I'm excelling, right, in the security into freedom. And then everything I do in life, now I'm following that. So it's almost like my soul, my true self left me breadcrumbs. And it's like when you follow this, you have your sensations of fulfillment and inspiration and joy and passion. So you follow that. It's like, well, if I come from this place, this eternal place where I only know myself and can only know myself in truth, which is bliss and peace and love and joy, well, then maybe those are the breadcrumbs that if I left that for myself in this level of agreement and structure that I've forgotten, my true self is like, here's a breadcrumb. When you notice this is who you really are. So then if I follow that, maybe I'm aligning to that, as opposed to aligning to other people's values that is not part of my true self, which then keeps me in an unconscious reflection of patterns and programs that I don't prefer. But then I can let go of that and I move into alignment with my true self and I follow my top 3 values. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, look at this flow. And I don't have to figure everything out. It just kind of shows up. And then I know, I go, oh, well, that's where I'm going now. And that's aligned with my values. So I'll do that. That's not aligned with my values. It's not about judgment. It's discernment. I'm just more aware of my own energy field and what it feels like to exist within my infinite truth. And when something isn't aligned with my infinite truth, it doesn't matter. I'm not agreeing, I'm not agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. It just, oh, that's not for me. Oh, that's definitely part of the truth. Oh, thank you for that. reflection and understanding. Now I remember more of who I am. Now I can experience more of what I am. So this is the power of values. And this is where I excelled it and expanded it beyond the personal development realm in the mental capacity. This aids spiritual growth in a way that, like, I'm not even sure I can fully explain it. It has to be experienced and embodied. So when you practice this, you'll understand it. Now, here's the thing. So infinite truth, eternal self, right? It's actually not about forgetting your personality, right? And the death of the ego and all of this. It's not about that at all, okay? The infinite self is always there. It created structures of experiences. My personal mind is part of that structure. It's a beautiful tool. It's a necessary part. The only thing that's happened is we were taught to ignore all the other aspects of ourselves and fully focus on intellect. So we're focusing singularity into one body. Again, we did a workshop Wednesday on that one. I forget the title.
Dimensional selves.
Multidimensional beings, yes. And so know yourself as multidimensional. So if you're focusing in one dimension, well, then you're missing the point, because you're actual in harmony in all dimensions at all times, right? So it's about getting the conscious focus, the personal mind, and what it thinks it knows. And it's like, I have to figure everything out. It's like, no. Maybe we just understand our values and we align to that. And this part of the structure, we align to this, we follow the breadcrumbs, we remember more of who we are. It's aligned to our true self. We have these experiences and we have a more complete understanding. So what we're doing, point is, we are actually giving our personal mind a job that it can actually do more efficiently, instead of try to control the entire world around us so we feel safe, which is an impossible task. And many of us do this. And we say, I need life to look like this and look like this, and this idea, and this has to be this, and this has to be this. And then the personal mind doesn't know any better. It goes, okay. And you just gave it like an impossible task. It can't control everything, right? So what a waste of energy, I realized for myself. That's what I've experienced. We'll see what you guys experience. So then I chose to consciously align to my top 3 values. And as I do that, I put my personal mind into following that, and the focus of consciousness into that. Man, think of all that energy I'm saving. It's like turning all the lights off in your house. You know what I mean? Like your light, your energy bill goes down. But it focuses on what it is more that you prefer, right? While you're acknowledging the things you don't prefer. As they come up, you acknowledge them, you think about them. Another class, thoughts and feelings. My friend Regan really loved that class. She really got it. There's a difference between thoughts and feelings. Notice the thought, feel your feelings, dissolve the energies, call back more infinite possibilities, get to experience more of what you prefer. So is this making sense? Is there anybody that has any questions in the comments, or is anybody saying anything, babe, before I continue and give them more awesomeness?
Well, Phoenix says, my biggest takeaway so far is the realization of the perceived limitations that we have that can keep us stagnant. I'd love to welcome Lisa, Amber, Ira, and Jenny to the call. Thank you for being here today. Really appreciate it. I actually have one that I know a lot of people might ask a question of, which is, well, what if I can't really decide? Maybe these values are so close together that maybe it could fit into them, but I don't think that they are those. And what I want to say is, a lot of times our values become an umbrella for certain values, right? So my second value is actually connection. And for me, it's like connection to myself and connection to others. And within that is this love that can be expressed and shared and just loved on. And I love it so much. However, it requires connection, right? So love is underneath the value of connection for me. And then from that, I now have my third value, which is freedom. When I feel joyful, connected to myself and others, like I am free and expansive, and I just want to serve and help and be who I am in any way, in any capacity, which is my truth, right? So that freedom gives me also authenticity, right? It also gives me the ability to do anything I want, which also includes excellence. So those values can be the umbrella for multiple things. It's just knowing like the header of what that value is.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And that's right on my list. Thank you for see, you create it. The reality is here. You are doing my list for me. That's like how simple, that's the freedom. I didn't even have to remember doing that, right? I can go off and go whatever's coming through, I can share it. And then here's the reflection, sharing that point. Because that umbrella is huge for, well, I don't know if it's huge. It's just, it was paramount for me to understanding what freedom was. Because of course I have values of love and peace. Somebody like me who in my life has experienced things of would be the lie of not being at peace, to say it gently. Well, of course I value peace. Like really almost like I value peace most above all else, right? However, when I feel joy, love, and peace, when I'm experiencing that, when I know myself to be that in inspiration and authenticity, that is freedom. So freedom encompasses all those things and umbrellas all those things for me. So if you got a long list of values, that's cool. Pick your top three, and one of them might encompass more than one. Okay. I'm not saying you have to limit yourself to three. Remember, we don't limit. There are no limitations. You can have an infinite supply of highest values. It's cool. But what we're doing is in honoring the structured form and the structured mind and the consciousness that is here, focusing in the structure, we're going to narrow it down to three. Okay. Now, what I want to share is examples. So we gave a lot of tools. Okay. So I want to give examples of some of the clients that I've helped find their values. And this might help you guys because a lot of people can get kind of confused or not understand. But that's okay. Oh, side note, as I bring this up, many times our highest values are directly related to some of our biggest challenges in life, or some of the themes. I should say it's more true, is the themes in life, where you didn't receive that as a child. So for me, freedom, I was in a house with, a lot of fear, verbally abusive, alcoholic dad who was very loving one minute and very monstrous the next. And I never felt safe. And he would put me in a room and talk to me for 3 hours when he was drunk. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. And I just had to sit there. So of course, freedom. I don't want to do I don't want any authority outside of me ever. Right now, I'm free in all ways because now I don't give any authority outside of me. So of course, freedom, of course, security. Right. So that's something. So whatever a value is, your top three values may be something in life that you needed that you didn't receive as a child. Right. So now you want to receive that. Okay. That's actually quite profound when you just be curious about that. So which friend do I want to tell you about first? Which client do I want to tell you about? Let's talk about, I won't say any names. It's this guy I love. I've known this guy for quite a while. He's so funny. And in the last few years, he's really had some reflections show up where it's like, this is not benefiting him anymore. It was a thought of patterns where it worked well enough to survive into his 40s. And then it's like, nah, where you're going and where you want to go with your life and with your business and everything, these things can't go there. So you got to come up, you got to see them, you got to let them go. You got to dissolve them back to infinite possibilities, step into more what you prefer. So I would have a lot of phone calls with him because I'm just a fucking great friend. And that's what I do. And his values, it took him about 2 or 3 months to notice his values. And the first ones he said, oh my God, it was discipline, determination, and I don't know, another one that sounds just as depressing What was
Empowerment.
oh, empowerment? Okay, I guess it wasn't that impressive. Empowerment, got it. And I was like, wow, discipline, determination. I was like, okay, and I don't tell people what their values are, okay. However, I like you choose to work with me. I can sense when it could be more true. There's a value there he was missing. So those to me, I know his past and I know his family and I know his dad. I was like, that sounds more like your dad in my mind. I didn't really tell him that. I just, okay. So yeah, those were not his values. Okay. So he was finally ready. And this was, I think, only just a few weeks ago. He's finally ready to understand his values and he really wanted to know. So now, what does he do all day long? I asked him, I'm like, what do you do all day long? What do you do? And this guy, ever since high school, people just love this guy. It's actually it used to be annoying. It's kind of maybe still annoying. I don't know. He's just like when I go and hang out with him, like everybody knows him, dude. And it's like, hey, oh, hey. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what is this? But everyone loves the guy. And he goes, what do you do all day long? And he goes, oh, well, he used to think it was people pleasing, right? Like he used to think, and many of us do that. And that's an unskillful process and a challenge where you overcome that to see what his true value was. It's not that he's a people pleaser. It's really all he does all day long is help people and give people love. His highest value was love. And he's following that in everything he does all day long. He always has time for people. He helps people. He just does these things. And the minute I brought that up as a possibility for him, and he saw that as he went, and we had to get off the call because he just needed to absorb that. And so since then, just I think in a few weeks, his life's already changed completely. His perception of life, his inner reality has changed. So his outer three-dimensional reality has changed. So can you imagine that, being 47 years old, having the value of love and following that every day and not being conscious that that's what you were following and thinking your values was discipline and determination? Wow. Okay. Well, that was that level of agreement. I'm sure he is preferring now the level of agreement he just chose into now. And he's going to be able to follow that. And that's going to bring him more of what he prefers. Anything to add to that, babe?
Well, that's a classic case of, following other people's values and what they instill in you. And it's great because they, found it valuable for themselves and maybe for their time, for their generation, for what needed to happen for them. However, where you might be going to, maybe that isn't your values. And maybe that's where you're pushing against certain things or rebelling against that agreement, which then causes more conflict, right? And so we want to be careful because when you start to rebel or push against an agreement, you're really just trying to find what you value and what's important to you, right? Find that and turn your eyes towards what you prefer rather than going against what you don't prefer.
Right. And that's a lot of what we teach, especially in New Paradigm Healing Academy, is thoughts and feelings and beliefs and being curious. And what do I believe to be true? And maybe life is a series of reflections of things I think I know and believe to be true, most of which are unconscious, and is bringing consciousness to the unconscious. Because unconsciousness is part of the same energy. It's all just consciousness. It's just a piece in that structure that we made a decision. We dissected it and decided that it was separate from source, our infinite truth, our eternal self.
Tiffany is with us, and she says, our highest values are directly related to our biggest challenges and themes in our life. Well said, she said. And she also says that person's got that fourth chakra heart charm, love beams out of him. People crave more love, so they react very strongly to that.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, so now I'm not so annoyed anymore. That's just beautiful. And now it's a pleasure to be around that person. See, that's what I say. I don't really know. Wow. Love heart charm. I love Tiffany's channels and how open they are and the things that she can perceive. That's so much fun. And that's where I'm going. It's so much fun when I'm perceiving these multi-dimensions. I let go of what I think I know. Oh my God, there's all these different realities and things that I can see and different senses I have. I just don't have these five senses in this mind that thinks, there's all these things to it. And that's what I'm offering you. And we're inviting you to consider the possibilities and just be curious and find those top three values. It may change everything for you. It may start to give you more of what you prefer. So another example that I want to give everybody is for, and this is primarily, by the way, this comes from me just kind of understanding in the past, the experiences I've had, the pain and the suffering of the, what are my values? Like I would get pissed and I just would be in my own shit and I don't want to do it. Fuck you. Right. You know what I mean? So if anyone's feeling that, like, I get you. I'm with you. I love you. It's okay. It's okay. Be curious. Be curious about all of that. That may be something where you're not seeing your values. When you're feeling irritated, when you're going through your values and I don't know what my values are, and you start to get irritated. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with you? What do you believe is wrong with you? Because ain't nothing wrong with you. You're an eternal being of infinite possibilities of love, light, and expansion. What the fuck could possibly be wrong with you? Nothing. There's just this level of structure and this agreement that you're holding on to that no longer benefits you. That's asking to be seen and acknowledged without thought and presence. Let it go. Step into your values. Focus more on what you prefer. Okay? Get the theme. You get the theme of the whole New Paradigm Healing Academy. It's fucking profound. And what's coming through these days, I mean, it still blows me away. I mean, I kind of know more of who I am, so I just kind of go, well, of course. Infinite possibilities. Of course this is coming through. Still though, I'm still go, wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's why I just let go of expectations and follow my values. Because what I prefer most times exceeds my expectations and my idea and my imagine of the small self and its imagine of what it should be. And it turns into something so much more preferable for me and fulfilling. Almost like something inside me already knew. So that's what we're offering you, is the possibility to do that. So the second, come here, buddy. Kai wants in on the energy. The second example I have, this is a great client of mine, and she's a little older, and she's actually in her 70s, and so we were going through her list. She wrote a bunch down, and she had about 5 or 6, and creativity was on there, and it was like the 4th or 5th one, and we're going through it. And she's like, creativity, I don't even think that's there. I mean, what do you mean? She goes, I don't think that's a value. I was like, well, why not? She goes, because it's always just been there. Right. And then a backstory, she was an art teacher for 40 years. Okay. She taught art and loved every minute of it. And so I said, well, what do you mean it was just there? She goes, well, it's just so simple for me. It just came, like, it's just what I did all the time. It was just effortless. I just did that. So what she's saying is I was living through my highest value unconsciously. I didn't even know it was my highest value. I still don't know it's one of my highest values. And because it was easy, I didn't put any value on it. I was like, whoa, okay. So I asked her some questions. I was like, so does that mean things have to be hard to have value? I was like, so because it was effortless and easy and flow, it has no value. So then and she goes, oh, and I was like, well, where'd you get that from? And she realizes, I got that from my dad. Oh my God. Because he made fun of art all the time. He didn't understand her mind. So she devalued her own value and she hid it away. So to the point where an art teacher and an artist didn't even know that one of their top 3 values was creativity. That's how we can get really lost in the identity and the paradigms of other people's values and dishonoring our own. Okay. I thought that was a very valuable story I wanted to share. To expand on that, her top three was authenticity, which she discovered. It took us a little bit. She discovered that authenticity, creativity, and excellence. This is why her and I get along. And also authenticity is like on my top five, I would say. So authenticity. So she learned at a very young age that she thought different than everybody in her household, and she couldn't share that. That's what she started to learn. And so she couldn't be authentic. So she cut off the authenticity and followed other people's values so she wasn't abused and she could stay safe and she wasn't attacked. Okay. So she stayed creative in her own way, but she cut herself off and followed other people's values because she's like, I can't be authentic and creative. So I'm going to do that in secret. I'm going to hide it from everybody. And I'm going to pick a job that's acceptable. And I'm not going to tell people I'm an artist. She doesn't even tell people she's an artist. She wouldn't do it. I was like, well, why not? She goes, because they look at me weird. They judge me. They don't understand me. So she denied her authenticity. So that's what she needed most as a child. And she didn't get that. So no wonder it's her number one value. And she's in her 70s now, and she now knows her top three values, and she's changing. And it's so nice to see her honor herself in that way, because she's really cool. And she's like got a lot of energy channels open. Like she could see things, that I'm not seeing. And she doesn't always share that. And I can tell, because she's like, I don't want to share this because it's weird. But no, just be authentic, be creative, and excel. So that was a great example.
I'm going to welcome Michelle to the call. She says, that's what I've been practicing, checking in on how I'm living into my values and when I get frustrated with or down about things. Very important.
Checking in with the values, frustrated. Right. And then if you're frustrated or down about something, that might be in direct conflict with your values.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
And Christine says, this is such awesome information. I'm going to enjoy watching this again. And thank you so much for the workbook. Love you both.
Yes. Love you too. And I will be checking in on you to see what your top three values are.
And Tiffany says, this is a fantastic video to chop up and make into reels to get in front of more eyeballs. I highly agree.
I agree too. This is what I share in our academy. And there's 48 weeks of this freaking awesomeness and one-on-one sessions with me, Candace and Tiffany. It's amazing. And this is a piece of that. And I don't have any problem sharing these things. I really don't. That's why we created New Paradigm Healing Facebook page, because this is meant to expand. As I share this, Candace just had this experience. We were talking about something, and I think we might have had a live. I think it was one of her Spiritual Clearing Fridays, which I recommend and invite people to show up to or watch the replay and just receive some amazing healing and move some energy that was waiting to move for you. And you don't even know, you have to know you're doing it. But she was talking about a certain theme, and then she went and saw a client that day, and me and her were both discussing this. She saw a client, and they started to bring up the theme that she was talking about in a way that they actually were able to articulate and understand it. And they go, there's something here, and they're asking her for more of a clarification and a reflection of it. So it's possible we're all creating our own universes and our own realities. So as she brought that into the reality, that gave the example into other people's field without their personal mind having to understand where they got that information. It comes up for them to then, they've already embodied it. Now they're trying to asking for more help to reflect and more embody it even more, right? So that is what we're doing here. And that's why I love this platform of New Spiritual Healing Facebook page, is I get to go on and share this stuff, because guess what? That's my service. It's supposed to be here. I put it out there. And what comes back to me, I don't have any expectations. I just know I'm following my highest values. I'm doing what I'm called to do and asked to do, that I feel fulfilled and excited. And you can tell I'm very joyful and authentic when I do this. I'm very inspired, and I just don't hold back. Where does that go? What examples is there for people to go, whoa, that's right. I didn't realize, oh, look what I was holding. I don't need to be there. And we're all going to do this together. So I don't know. It's pretty fun. So that's pretty much it. I mean, values, you can see the structure, the mental structure where it's like, I have a brilliant mind. Okay. People, be humble. Don't be arrogant, whatever. I take all that out. I know myself. I have a brilliant mind. Okay. Many of you do. All of us actually do, to be honest with you. We really do. And in that aspect, I want to allow my mind to be a part of this experience. So I want to give it the jobs that it can actually fucking do and focus on simple, effective aspects to align to the true self. So through those actions, you're staying in the truth of what you are, which is in harmony at all times. And when your consciousness gets pulled off into something that's out of alignment with your soul's highest truth or your soul's agreement, right? You focus, you pull yourself out of alignment, and that's where you start to notice the reflections of things you don't prefer. Okay. And then it's a constant loop of things we don't prefer, because it's like, no, get back in alignment, because this is an agreement you don't need to agree to anymore. Can you see it and acknowledge it and let it go? Oh, you did. Good. So that's me giving the mind something to do, giving it a job, saying, here, you have this beautiful mind, use it. Use it to bring these highest values, expansiveness through the structures, all the different levels of agreements and the vibrations of structures down into divinity and form. And so then be the conduit of source to express itself in the 3-dimension. And that's what this came through for me to share with you. This is the simplest version of structure and following your values and your passions in life to actually be divinity and form, and to have just more fun in what you do and spiritual growth. It doesn't always have to be so uncomfortable. I'm having much more fun these days, and it's experiential. I just offer you information. You can absorb it. You can move forward and make choices with it. When you start to experience it and embody it, you'll go, oh my God, that's what he was talking about. This is just way more than I had imagined. This is amazing. So, blessings to all of you. I love you all. This is here for you. All the people on the live, all the people on the replays. The workbook is there. Practice it. And you never know. Once you do that, I might actually do another one of these and then have people actually fine tune their values if you get stuck on one or two of them. Or who knows, you might just download all three.
So then check in the comments below. We did put a link there to get your free values workbook to play with this. And I'll be sending out the replay in the email as well. We have a few more comments that I wanted to share. Kimberlyn, thank you for joining us on the call. And Michelle says, OMG, that resonated with me so strongly. Electricity ran through me. I hid my authenticity when faced with rejection and negative responses to it, and started living for people's acceptance instead. And Tiffany says, hey, I think you're a little extra brilliant than most. Just saying.
Oh, that's my sister. So she's very biased, but I'll receive it. It's cool, man. I love you. Yeah. So Michelle, that's actually most of us. That was such a beautiful statement. Can you read that again? What Michelle said?
Sure. That resonated with me so strongly. Electricity ran through me. I hid my authenticity when faced with rejection and negative responses to it, and started living for people's acceptance instead.
Yeah. I hid my authenticity. Because of what? Read each one. I hid this is important. I hid my inauthenticity.
I hid my authenticity when faced with rejection.
Rejection.
And negative responses to it.
Negative responses to it. So look at those words, right? Rejection. Well, if we're all from source, if we're all from one thing, can we ever be rejected? Of course not. That's a belief. I wonder where we learned that from. negative. What's negative? There's positive and negative, but they're opposites. So there's got to be a neutral in the middle from the spectrum. So maybe the neutral is the alignment and the harmony of all things. And the opposites, positive and negative, are just there to have experiences. So negative in a condensate of what we believe it to be, like, oh, I'm wrong in some way. Something's going to hurt me. Someone's going to attack me if I'm wrong. And I have these feelings that I don't like that come up when I think of this. Right. So, Michelle, I'm not picking on you. Because what you just said is most people, and maybe most of us on this call at one time or another, or maybe up until now. That's why we start to live other people's values. It's to stay safe. That's it. And so, like, she beautifully explained, she explained that, I think, I think that's what I was attempting to explain. And she like wrote it in 3 sentences just perfectly. So thank you. I appreciate you. Anything else, babe?
Well, as a beautiful announcement, we do have our next cohort starting for New Paradigm Healing Academy, and we would love for you to join us. So if you are interested in attending our Healing Academy and learning these things and so much more about your chakras, your energy system, about being a multidimensional being, about your values and how to really support your life and where you're going, I highly encourage you to join us.
Yeah, you want to jump on this train.
Yes, you do.
You really do. You really do. The only thing, it's when you're ready, you're ready. And right now, what does it start? February 18th? Yep, February 18th. And so this class now, the discount that we're actually giving for this first year class, this will not exist outside of this class, and it's significant. So if you're interested, I would call and DM Candace and get some sort of information about it, so you can start making be curious about it and see what you want to decide and what's for you, and follow your infinite truth, not your small self. Here's an idea. So this school is so amazing. This academy is so amazing. And just like the people that are taking this now and that are coming up, that are going to be taking it, I am more excited for them than they probably can even understand. Because what's coming through for me and Candace and Tiffany as we hold space and we bring through these structures and ideas, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced. And it only excels. The being in the container of the academy and being held in, you are my responsibility, Candace's responsibility, Tiffany's responsibility, energetically, as our clients and as our students and pupils. That being held as you move in life, it accelerates the experience. And it makes it more effortless and more graceful. And I can't even really put it into words, like what it actually does. It's freaking amazing. And for me, it's just like, who wouldn't want to take this? It's just, who wouldn't want to take it? It's just freaking amazing. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you get to work on your values, and you'll be getting an email if you did sign up for your values workbook about an upcoming course that we're going to be teaching on values. So stay tuned and look for us in your inbox. Yay. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Love you. Bye. If you like this dope ass shit that I'm laying down, like, subscribe, and share. New Paradigm Healing, baby. Love ya.